Welcome to the Let Them Live podcast with Emily Burning, a place for meaningful conversations, real stories, and a shared mission to protect life. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Let Them Live podcast. I am actually home for this one. I feel like I'm in a million different places in life, and I always say I'm going to slow down, but that never happens. And I felt like I kind of got a corner in my bedroom here where I got a little nice setup. It's actually kind of cute. And this is not a pillow. This is one of our dogs. I have our dogs with us because this is the only place where they won't bark and disturb the podcast. So got our little babies sleeping here. But that's the podcast is not about the dogs, although that would be kind of fun. But today I am really grateful and excited to share someone with you guys that honestly has just become so special to me. You know, you meet people in your life and you know when you meet someone and you're like, we're going to be friends forever. And that is like, it's not common, you know, when you meet someone that just kind of gets you and just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. But today I have my friend Nikki on the podcast. And you guys, she is a ray of sunshine. She is a wealth of knowledge. She is passionate. I mean, she's just everything. And Nikki and I originally met, we can talk about this, later too, but we originally met because she was working for an organization called Operation Saving Life, which was based out of Nashville, Tennessee area. And she had reached out. They had a very similar mission to Let Them Live, which is amazing. And just reaching out, asking for some advice or whatever. And we got on a call and we just quickly, became friends. So that's how I met her. I met her through the pro-life movement, as I meet most of my friends. And we've just kind of developed a relationship ever since. And so I'm going to just bring Nikki in and we'll talk, and you guys will love this. But Nikki is an author. She's a mother. She has the biggest heart. And she is going to just share about her life experiences. We're going to talk about abortion. We're going to talk about Christianity. We're going to talk about all of it. So I'm going to stop talking, as I always say, and I'm going to bring... Hi, Nikki. How are you?
Hello.
I'm so happy you're here. So
I'm so happy.
in my intro, I talked about how we met through OSL. And the reason we're here today, especially talking about your books, which we'll talk about, is so for those of you who don't know, OSL just through a lot of prayer decided to close its doors and Let Them Live. I mean, we were so blessed to receive, I think it was 12 moms from OSL that they were supporting. And again, our missions were so aligned. So we took on their moms. It's been really amazing, but we sort of absorbed OSL. And so that kind of left Nikki in a place, like that kind of left you in a place where God was like, okay, like I'm calling you out to see, so tell me about that. Like tell people about just the faith that it's taken and kind of, all of that.
Yes, the faith that it has taken. Absolutely. It has been a journey. And I wish I could say that that I have been great on this journey and had unwavering faith and the best attitude, but that would be a lie. And I'm not going to do that. So it has been a good journey, though. I've had such sweet spots, but there's also been some super hard spots in it. So I am someone who's worked forever. Like I've had basically a job since I was 15. And in my adult life, I've worked full time my whole adult life, which is a lot of years. But this season,
It doesn't look like it.
Oh, I feel it. Listen, the grays are graying, okay? But it has been a season of like, I said, okay, for a month, I'm going to take to rest. I'm not thinking about work. I just need to rest and just kind of recalibrate, right? And I was like, God, I know he closed this door, so I know another one's going to open soon. So it's fine. And what I realized is my soon and his soon are not the same. They're different.
Nope.
And silly me for assuming that I knew how this was going to work out.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
learn,
know,
you get humbled so quick when we
girl.
think like, "Okay, it's gonna go like this, and this, and it's all gonna be perfect, and it's all gonna line up." And then when it's not, we find ourselves upset, but it's like, from the beginning, we should have known that that was just not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
And honestly, with my career changes, when I've had a shift in career, God has always been super clear with me. I've known that it was coming and I knew where I was going. It's the
Mm,
strangest thing. And this season has not been that.
'cause
This
you're
season
just
has not been that.
it's like coming, you're like, you know that, okay, the end is coming. Well, not like the end, but I'm
I gotcha.
not getting dark here, but then it's like, okay, but then where am I going? You know? But
Mhm.
it seems like God has been working in that and
He has, and I've known that the Lord, and that's a whole nother story, but I resisted for quite a while on speaking and writing. It's not something that I thought I don't know. I resisted. Not proud of it,
yep.
but yeah.
Well, that's
But
that's that's something I'm glad you're sharing, by the way, because people that listen, we're not perfect. I resisted, let them live. I was like pushing back on that. I did not want to do it. You know, like you're gonna relate to so many people that have gone through this season that are like, no, I know better than God. You know, blah blah blah. So yeah,
yeah.
so you
Like,
resisted,
why
but
do we
that's
do
okay.
that? Why do we do that? I think about Isaiah 40, and it's like, who can give the Lord advice? Like, who can advise the Spirit of the Lord? Like, why do we try?
Why do we try? Why do we try?
Anyway, yeah, that's one of those things where I feel like I thought I knew how it was going to go because honestly, he had shown me before, and
Yeah,
I knew he put speaking and writing in my heart, and that's something that I
yeah,
would do. I just thought once in my little perfect brain of, oh, I'll take this little rest period, and then I'm going to have opportunities to do more of this thing that he's called me to do, and
yep.
that has not looked. It's just not been ideal.
Hmm.
What I thought ideal was, but I have learned and still learning to surrender. And that's something he has shown me is I have to
Yeah,
surrender what I thought this season was going to look like. And
yeah.
I'd love to say that I did it gracefully, but I would be lying. It's been a
Yeah.
fight.
Well, you know,
Um,
God knows our hearts. So Nikki, God knew your heart maybe even before you did. And this is the thing that you realize like when God is working, you're like, "Oh, okay, I could maybe see that." Like I the other day was dealing with some like just feeling like, people in my family were like doubting God and doubting and I literally remembered and I was like so upset by it, but I was like I literally asked God to help my unbelief. And in
mm,
my unbelief, I had to really step up and help other people's unbelief, and that really helped me. So
mm,
all that to say, like you you say like, I in your heart God knows that maybe you are holding on so tight to the control, and he has basically made it so that you have no option but to let go of control. And sometimes that is done gently, but sometimes we are so resistant that it has to come about in a way that's like
yeah.
humbling. So,
Very much so, and that is something that he's shown me. It's probably been a couple weeks now. 3 weeks ago, I did a fast, and I just was like, God, reveal to me. Like, I don't know, I just prayed for reveal, release, and restore. And I was like, I don't know what needs to be revealed to me, and whatever I need to release, and please just restore my hope, my joy, my faith, and all the things. But one thing that he revealed to me on day 4 of the 5-day fast was that I he revealed to me that I have attached my value into what I produce.
oh,
And
yeah. I'm
yeah,
sure a
girl,
lot of people can relate to that. Like when we
man.
attach our value to external standards or what we can
Yes.
do instead of what like who God says we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really, so that's why he can reveal because we are deceived. We don't know. That's why we have
Yeah.
to ask. We have to
Yeah.
seek, right?
That's a failed mission
So
from the beginning,
yeah.
to put your value in that. So yeah.
And it's just crazy because I didn't realize how, and then he showed me it was therapy session, okay, but just how deep it was, and from even childhood, it's just like what you bring to the table that equals your value,
Yeah.
obviously. And I know I'm chosen, I'm loved, and holy, and all the things what God says. But there was something that he was just showing me. I'm stripping this away where you have nothing to
Yeah.
bring to the table. So
Yeah.
even in my household income, like I'm used to bringing something to the table, and he's had me just where I don't have that.
Yeah. You
And
have
I'm
to
still
full
valued, and I'm still
yes.
worthy, and I'm still loved, and I'm still chosen. and I'm bringing
Yep.
nothing. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep, because he brings it
And
all, you know, and
yeah.
yeah,
So, I
that's
didn't
amazing.
realize how much I felt the need to contribute. That was
Yeah.
it. It's just my need to contribute and produce,
Yeah.
and not resting in him and letting him, like, I don't know, let him be my provider, obviously. So, and he's
100%.
providing. So
He's
that
providing.
was one of the many lessons I've learned, but you hit it the nail on the head when you were talking about the internal. That's something that I feel like he's definitely shown me, because I was
Yeah.
praying very hard all this time for opportunities and speaking and jobs and all of these things. And I was praying for all kinds of external changes. And he's like, "Hey girl, we're praying, it's internal. You need to
Internal.
know that you are worth more than what you bring." You know what I mean? So
Yeah. This
I
is
I begin
amazing.
it's been good. That has been so good. God is so sweet
Yeah.
and so kind to really touch. Honestly, that was it's a wound and just kind of a belief I believe I've had since childhood.
Wow.
So something that's been really deep rooted in just what you bring, and that your
Yeah.
worth is found and value is found in what you can produce and all of these
Yeah.
things. So I
Yeah.
didn't realize I had such an issue with that I needed to,
Yeah.
I don't know, bring
Well,
something to
there's
the table.
probably I know there's people listening and watching that are like, "Oh, I really needed to hear that," you know? Because either they're struggling with the same thing or they're coming to that realization or whatever
Mhm.
it is. And to know that it's okay, we're not perfect, we go through it. And so, okay, like let's back up, like share your because you go from and OSL is amazing, like or
Mhm.
was it is it's the people, right? Like I have a hard time whenever organizations like cease to exist anymore. It's like a hard time accepting that because the people behind it still exist and
Yeah.
the hearts are still there. So like I'd love for you to talk about your work. And my dog is licking my leg. um, like, oh, I love it. Talk about your work, your personal, before all this transformation, and probably even how that's like leading you in this,
Mhm.
and the moms that you've worked with and your pro life story, and kind of set the stage for that and your heart for mothers, because I think your books
Mhm.
like loop back around to that, your
For sure.
heart for these pregnant women that find themselves just I mean,
Mm.
so
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would love to hear that.
Yes. And honestly, that does play a part in my story. I mentioned the childhood, like that need to produce, but especially becoming a mom at 18. That was amplified because
Yeah,
it was no longer me that I'm caring for. So it's like, I've got
yeah,
to do this, I've got to do this, in this hustle and bustle and striving. But before I got to that, even acceptance of my new reality, I mean, I'm just gonna be honest, and I've been honest with my son about this. Like, obviously you're 18, you are presented with options. What are we all have options, have these choices to make on what it looks like with this unplanned pregnancy. So that was a very, very hard struggle for me, to find that I was pregnant. I was like, how was this? What, you know what I mean? Just grappling with that. So I definitely understand and relate to those women who find themselves in this situation, which I understand. People are like, well, you know what it takes to get pregnant. Yes, understand that. But just that reality, that information is not
yeah.
helpful for that mama in that moment.
No,
And
because
just being,
she already is pregnant. I see this all the time on social media. Not to cut you off, but I know you can relate to this. I will see all the time, like, if we run a fundraiser or something. I said this on the show all the time because it's so true. It annoys the crap out of me. But like, people will comment like, "Oh, I should have kept her legs closed," or I'm like, "Thank you so much, Dale, for that comment because that is so helpful." No, like,
yeah,
great, shoulda, coulda, woulda, and
yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh, I've heard this from Emily before," because I'll say it again. It's already there. It happened. Okay. Like the child is there. She should have kept her legs closed. Great. Okay. Well, that's not helpful. you
Right.
know?
Like,
So you've
it's so
experienced that.
I mean, it's, and that's the thing, like, women are met with such insensitive comments and just not being understood, and
Yes.
they are met with those things, and then they have this, feel like they have a decision to make, because they have options, and I get that. So it's just something that they have. So I love being able to support those women who are choosing life,
Yeah.
because I know what it feels like to wonder if you can do this. Like,
Yeah,
there's
you've
so much
felt
more
it.
behind that decision that these women are
Yep,
facing. There's so much more
100.
than just
Well,
like,
there's
"Oh, well, just don't want it."
yeah, and it's not black and white either in the sense I mean, abortion's black and white in many senses, and that's not where I'm coming from. It's like personal life is not
Yes.
black and white because, we fear comes into play. Fear is such a powerful driving force that can make you
Mhm.
do things that you never thought that you would. Um,
Mhm.
the fear of, not being able to provide, not, all of this
Yep.
stuff, and it all kind of comes in and it just feels jumbled and you're scared. And not that I can speak from the pregnancy perspective, but like life has just hit me and you feel like you're in a blur and you're like, what do I do? Like,
Yeah.
and that's where you find yourself. And honestly, it's how can you make a true decision when you're in that like
Mhm.
tornado, you
Yeah.
know?
And even finding people you trust to talk to, there's so many things. And just to speak to your comment on people who say things, I think that obviously, like you said, abortion is black and white. Like but we have to separate it from the person, which I give me
Yeah.
grace on how you receive this, but just saying, I think that we tend to demonize the person
Yeah.
and not the like, it's abortion we don't agree with and what that means for a child. We need to humanize that woman and not demonize her. That's what I feel like
100%.
happens so much, is that we
100%.
need to see her humanity. And
Yeah.
so I
And
have such
know and trust that God can work through that. Like, no one is too far gone. Like, I really truly believe that, like, even at the last
Mhm.
minute on someone's deathbed, God, like, they can accept Jesus.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like, I fully believe that. And so, seeing it through that perspective, like, it's so hard because part of you is like, man, that child just died, and of course there's like, you walked in there and you did that. But a majority of the time, the women you talk to, they don't fully know, or they've been lied to, they've
Mhm.
been deceived, and deception is such a powerful thing.
Right.
And
Yep.
and so you have to
100%.
give grace because now after an abortion, my dog is licking her paw. After an abortion, these moms are just so it's awful, you got to give them grace. So
Yeah,
what
that's what we all need. I mean, it's his, and then his kindness leads us to repentance,
yes.
not not
Yep.
our thumb wars on social media and us telling her what she shoulda, woulda, coulda done.
Well,
That does not do that.
I actually got this was really interesting, and I think it does touch on forgiveness, but you could really apply it to anything like this second part. But someone sent me a picture of something, and I was really having a hard time forgiving someone for something, and she sent me this, and it really honestly, I immediately was like, I'm forgiven, so I'm going to forgive her. And
Mm,
it says it's a quote by Andy Stanley. In the shadow of my hurt, forgiveness feels like a decision to reward my enemy. But in the shadow of the cross, forgiveness is merely a gift from one undeserving soul to another. And I think that's the lens that we have to remember to look from one undeserving soul to another.
yes, period.
Period.
We have all we all need him. We're all equal at the foot of the cross. So I understand, as believers, we know things, we have this, we can kind of be prideful, get prideful about
Yeah.
all of the knowledge that we have. And I'm like, man, knowledge does not save you. Like, it's
No.
love, it's grace, it's kindness. You know what I mean? Like, we
Yes.
have to tap into that. And
Yes.
Jesus didn't hang on the cross longer for that woman who chose abortion than he hung for you. It's not like, oh, well, you didn't need me as much, so
A
she needs me more. Like,
100%.
equal. We're
I
all
was
equal.
I
Sin
was
is
just
sin.
reading Ecclesiastes. This is so perfect because I've been talking about it so much. Ecclesiastes is probably my favorite book right now because I mean, to sum it up, and some people may feel like it's a dark type of thing, but it's like we're all going to die, and death is the great equalizer. Rich,
Mhm.
poor, you spent your life in the Bible, you didn't. You have knowledge and wisdom or you don't. Like you're a fool or you're wise, right? Like
Mhm.
being wise isn't going to save you from the same end. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be, but it kind of humbles you because it makes you
Yeah.
realize that like, okay, like it doesn't make me like I'm not going to live longer because I am wise, or, or whatever, so
Yeah.
it just made me think because you're like we're all equal in that, like we're all equal at the foot of the cross. Jesus hung there. I
Mhm.
love that. You say things that
Yeah.
just like stick with me, but I love it. So that's so true.
Yeah.
So you're 18 at the time. What was
Mhm.
your did you grow up Christian? What was your family like, what was the response to that? Like, ho
Yeah.
tell me the deets of
I
that.
Yeah, I did grow up in a Christian household, so I knew,
Yeah,
about God, all the things, but
yeah,
just, had some great growth moments and then some where I was distant, all of lots
yeah.
of ups and downs through that. So I'm really thankful that, like, when I did tell my mom, like, abortion was never
That's
a topic
beautiful.
for her. So I really do appreciate that. Which by the time I told her, I'd already, decide,
Yeah,
known that that was not something that I was
yeah,
going to choose to do.
right.
But or even I know there's other options. It's not just there's adoption. You know what I mean? There's other options. So I'd already chosen that, even though I was scared out of my mind.
That's amazing though, and with telling your mom, like, that's a big thing too, and I know you've seen this with the women that you've worked with, and, that can just like telling, like, the father of the baby can essentially kind of make or break that decision. Same
Mm-hmm.
with parents, like, we've had moms that have been kicked out of their house because their parents were like, "We're not gonna help you." And they're like, "Yeah, they're allegedly Christian," right? Because all they can focus on is that sin of, sex outside of marriage, for example, but not focusing on the here and now and what God has created and the beautiful thing he's done through that sin. And
Right.
so what that must have been huge for you and scary, but then,
Scary.
like sharing it
Yeah.
and, you know,
It was very scary, but I'm just grateful that I felt like there was a soft place to land where I wasn't met with condemnation and all of these, just because of course in your mind, when you said fear makes you make different, like, fear changes, distorts your reality, right? You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
So in my mind, it was going to be awful. It
right.
did in that moment, it wasn't great, but her response was awful in my mind.
And
And it was
100%.
definitely that is not the response I got. I'm thankful for kindness that was
Yeah.
shown. So I do think that, and I say I'm grateful for that. But I think even going back to where I was talking about being a producer, I think in that moments of me deciding that I'm going to parent alone and all of these things, it also added to that producer mentality of like it's
Mm,
me, it's us against the world. I have to do this. I have to
and,
prove I
like,
can't be
on
a
your
statistic. I
own.
don't want to be this. And it was all of these pressures and measures and I have to do these things. And that was not the healthiest way to,
'Cause it sets you up for striving, like, you have to strive all the time,
Yep.
and how you get worn out from that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And God
Wow.
invites us to rest. And a
Yep.
lot of times we think, so that's something he's shown me is just, it's not rest like, oh, take a nap, but we get to rest in him. Like I can have rest in the middle of the storm because of who I'm in the boat with. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
who I'm singing
Yep.
to.
It's like what I
So
always
being able
say,
to rest,
God
I
is real,
love it.
he's not Emily, you know?
I'm like, I'm thank God I don't depend on me, and in those trials and being invited to rest into his presence. We can do that when
Mhm.
we're out shopping. Like it's just like going deeper with him. So that's something that I
Yeah.
love. And he does not call us to strive and do more in this list of rules, but it's obviously a relationship. So yeah, that also just being 18 and feeling like, because I was a freshman in college and it's like, am I gonna finish school? Am I gonna drop out? What am I
Yeah.
gonna do? So
And that's
there were just so many.
yeah.
It
Like,
affects your whole life, obviously.
questions,
So
and that's a really good important perspective to remember too for people that are on the receiving end of someone telling them that they're pregnant in less than ideal circumstances, is that that person that's telling you, that woman, we're not I would say no, 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 we're not doing that gender neutral stuff. The woman that is telling you that she's pregnant, she m most likely, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, has already, like, shamed herself. She
oh
has already, like, been so hard on herself because I believe we're hardest on ourselves. At least I am, and I find it easier to forgive other people. It's hard to forgive yourself. So, a
mhm.
woman who finds a woman who finds herself in an unexpected pregnancy has probably already gone through the, like, oh, I'm so stupid, how could I have done this? They've already put themselves down. They don't need any more of that. What they need is, like you said, a soft place to land.
Yeah.
And that can change, the course of everything, because as you guys all know, as you know, Nikki, like it's not just one life that's impacting
Mhm.
generations,
Generations.
and our response can change so much.
Yeah.
And so it's good that it's crazy how we're going back to your 18. I'm not going to ask you how old you are, but now you're here.
I don't mind.
And
I'm 41. Yeah.
what?
I don't mind. Yeah.
Wait, you're not in your okay. I
I'm
thought you were in your
41. Yep.
30s. I thought you were in your 30s, like mid 30s. Okay. Well, that's nice. But you go from there to now you're here, and
Mhm.
God is stop looking at me. God is like kind of bringing it full circle where you that was
Mhm.
kind of maybe the beginning, or like the real full speed ahead of you having to like go go go, everything, my value is based on what I do. And now
Mhm.
God is like, hey, chill out. All these years later.
Which is hard to do. Why is that so hard?
I know.
Like
I know.
ceasing striving. And honestly, without this break this really long break that I in employment that I wasn't expecting, he has just shown so much. And that's one of those things of is just the striving. I think sometimes we know our
Striving.
tendencies. It's like, oh, I have this tendency, but we think it's more surface when it's so much deeper. It's so
It
much
is.
deeper than we know. And like we gotta it takes some time to dig up some of those things.
It's
And healing
painful.
is a process. Healing is a
Healing is a
process. It's not one
process.
and done.
Yeah.
So there's some
Yeah.
things that he's definitely shown me through this. So
Yeah. Yeah.
going back to that, I think of that is something that I just never ever and I now mentally my mindset spiritually I am not that 18-year-old girl anymore, thank God, but
Yeah.
man, I love her.
Yeah.
And I wish there's so much I wish she knew. There's so much
Yeah.
I wish that there's just so much. I can't even explain it and go into
No.
that, but I have compassion for her. And I don't want to
Yeah.
look at it and just like, "Oh man, why did you do this? You shouldn't have done that." There's so many times we need compassion and not shame. So
Compassion.
that's why I love being able to speak into other moms because you're right. We've already shamed ourselves. We've already
Yeah.
done this for ourselves and said, how could you
Yeah.
do this and all these things? But
Yeah.
being able to come back in
Yeah.
gentleness, like being able to meet someone in
Yeah.
gentleness and
And
love
it's
and
like
compassion.
it's kind of like when you're counseling a mom and you're working, it's like you're talking to yourself. You're like
Mm,
your 18-year-old self, or and
yeah.
you're giving that. And I saw a trend. It was a trend, I guess. I don't really know or if it was, but I thought this was really kind of cool. So when you're like being really, I don't know if you've ever done this or anyone listening has, but if you're really someone who's really hard on yourself and you find that the biggest bully in your life is you, which has been me, I found a picture of myself as a 2-year-old. I'll just show you guys. It's pretty cute, but I found myself, or as a toddler, I guess. I'm not really sure how old I was, but that was me.
Oh,
And I was looking at that and I was like, would I say the things that I'm saying to myself to
yeah.
this little girl? Would I tell her that she's not
Mhm.
enough or she's not doing enough? Would I ever do that? No. So why would I do that? So looking at yourself, like that's what I encourage people to do. Like grab a picture of yourself as a kid. And when you look in the mirror every morning, like that's who you're looking at. And so that reminded me of that when you're like, I love my 18-year-old self because that's
Mhm.
what she needs. So anyways, that's what I thought of.
Absolutely. And there's something I just say this. I'm like, if I look at my life and I just imagine our lives is like a book where there's chapters in the book, we all have chapters that we do not want read aloud.
Yeah. There are
We all
chapters
have
that are
chapters,
buried that were like, they should never come to
right?
light.
And then I just think about imagine Jesus meeting you in that chapter.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. So that's what
Yeah.
we get the opportunity to do with women who find
Yeah.
themselves in this chapter that they did not expect, that they wish was look different, but we get to be the hands and feet of Jesus in that chapter,
Yeah.
and that is such an honor. That's such a
Yeah.
privilege to do that.
From one undeserving soul to another, we're
Right.
all, that's amazing. And I think that was like one of the biggest things that drew me to you. I mean, obviously there's so many, um,
Yeah,
but just
definitely.
your heart for the moms. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from you as well,
Mhm.
because just the experiences you've gone through and the heart that you have for the moms. And I know that was hard for you as well to kind of part from that. And it was such a bittersweet thing for me
Mm,
as obviously from Let Them Live's perspective, because I'm here to help other organizations. Like I was so
mhm,
here for it. And, but I'm also down for whatever God has in store. And so to see the path change for you guys with OSL kind of closing its doors, but then knowing that God, like it's all because God has ordained it, and the offer still
mm,
stands if you ever think about coming to Let Them Live. It's always there. But I know that God's plan is working through you, and you
yeah.
are doing amazing things on your own, like not on your own with God, but you're kind of like forging this path for yourself. So talk about that. Talk about what we talk. I mean, your books, your
Yeah.
what you've been doing, and like you said, like the inspiration that God's given you. I mean,
Yeah.
all of that, and how he's brought you out of the season into a new one.
Yeah, it has been again very hard. I feel like that honey in the rock, like it's been sweet in the hard place, and something that just came out of, I say came out of nowhere, but I was able to be a contributing author for a book called Back to School, Back to You, and it is
Yes.
for mothers. And
I
I have
love
your
it.
copy because
Yes.
listen,
Yes.
love it, love it, love it. But it's the best part about it is that I am not the sole author, because it's a book on different stages of motherhood, and you get 10 different perspectives
That's
and 10
amazing.
different seasons of life from 10 different authors. And I love it, whether you're a homeschooling mom or you have a child with a medical diagnosis and you're navigating school and balancing those things, whether you're sending your kid to high school or college or dealing with comparison. Like it touches on so many different things, and that's been really, really sweet. Again, it goes back to into motherhood, just where my heart for mothers. So I am very grateful to be a part of it, and it's just been so super, super cool. Like reading this book, I'm like, it's good. And
I
I'm not saying
love that.
obviously, I mean,
No.
take away my chapter, I have tons highlighted in here. Like it's
Yeah.
so good,
The
and it's
knowledge.
basically helping you parent with an eternal perspective. And that is just and it makes me think about that 18-year-old, which I wish I'd had some sound wisdom, of
Yeah.
other, it's like other mamas being a voice for
Yes.
you. And
I
that
love
is
that.
beautiful, because not every young lady who finds herself in that situation has a mother figure and has someone speaking life into her and just
Yeah.
helping her. And
Yeah.
this book is really a great way to do that. And I love it. I'm just so
I'm
thankful
excited.
for this
I'm
author.
not even a mom, and I want to read it, and it's on my list to order. But I'm so
Yay.
excited to order it, which is at nikkitigg.com, and that's nikkitigg.com.
Love it.
Um, you can also get it on Amazon, but that just goes to the publisher. So you should just buy it from Nikki. But I wanted to just throw that out there in case there's anyone that only does Amazon or whatever, but don't do that. And I just thought of this, Nikki, and I'm gonna have to write it down so that I can tell my team. But I was like, you know what? I could literally create a fundraiser so that people can buy a book, and
Mm.
it goes to a mom. So buy a book and it goes to a mom. So I'm gonna
Oh.
write that down because that just came to my mind. So I'm gonna create that link so that when this airs, everyone's gonna be watching it.
Oh, that's
Um,
so cool. That'd be
they
great.
can go to your website. They can buy a book. Maybe we can create a link or something, and then it goes to Let Them Live Mom. But when you told me that you wrote this, I was like, this is an amazing resource for our moms that are
Yeah.
going through it, and to hear from other moms,
Mm.
you know, just walk them through it and know that
Yeah.
they're not alone in it. I mean, that's probably a huge thing to know that you're not the only one that's experiencing what you're experiencing.
Yeah, and I love, as you're talking, it just hit me too with, I just think about it, you have perspective from other moms who, not saying they did it perfectly, but and nobody
Yeah.
who can do it perfectly, but you may not be able to do it with perfection, but you can do it with purpose.
Yeah.
And that's something that I feel like this is just a guide for that. So I think of the scripture of like, train your children up, and they will not, when they grow old, they will not depart from it. And I just one of our pastors at church did an illustration just talking about, that's a principle, not necessarily a promise, but he's just saying train them up, you're aiming them. You're aiming them, you're
That's all
pointing
you
them in
can
a
do
direction.
because you can't choose where someone goes, but
Right.
you can set them up for success, you know?
And that's what I feel like this is. This is a way to
Amazing.
help point them to Christ. And obviously, not saying this is the only way. There's a Bible. I'm just saying this is a beautiful way to aim and
It's a
point.
practical
And
thing.
yes, 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 yes. So not we don't parent as we're not perfect parents, but we can parent with purpose and be prayerful
I
in
love
that
that.
parenting journey.
I
So
can't wait for our moms to get this. Like, literally, when you told me, I was like, this is going to be amazing. And if anyone has any other book recommendations or whatever, our moms should read, like, please comment that, because we always want to give them the best, but like I couldn't think of anything better. And, supporting a pro-life,
yeah, thank
small
you.
business type situation. And so
Yeah.
if that wasn't enough, you guys, you, ma'am, have another book. And I love how you described it when we were talking. You're like, it was a download from God. And I literally just picture that as like me clicking download on like a PDF, and it downloads to my computer and it's there. And so,
Mhm.
uh, this, and I'll let you talk about it, but it's called The Deeper Walk. And I know you have the proof, which is awesome. So it's not
Yes.
available yet, you guys, but it will be.
Mhm.
And I was thinking this is a really good, these types of journals. It's a journal, 21-day guided journal. And these types of things are so good for anyone, especially people like when I talk about reading the Bible or diving into my faith, I always kind of liken it to going to the gym. You will not find me at the gym because I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't have, unless I have someone who is a trainer who's like, meet me at the gym at 9 a.m. We're going to work out for an hour. I don't have to think about, well, am I actually doing a good job? I don't know what I'm doing. I have someone that is there. And
Mhm.
that's what guides like this do. They take you along.
Yeah.
They give you the instructions so you don't have to worry about if you're doing it right or wrong. Not that there's, well, okay, people will be like, there's a right or wrong way to do it, but you know what I
Okay.
mean. But I know, I'm like, I love what you said. You're like, take like, have grace when you hear me, because sometimes I don't say things right. But these
Well,
journals, they're there to help guide you. And so
mhm.
when you told me about this today, I was so excited. I was like, we've got to talk about this. So please share it, share the inspiration, walk me through the whole approach of it.
Okay.
And yeah, do it.
Thanks. Yeah, this is again a download. The morning that I wrote this out, I did not wake up that morning like, oh, this was not on my to do list. It was not on my to do list. It was on God's to do list, but not mine. And
I love
basically,
that.
it is a journal to help you when you're quiet time with God. So I know sometimes, like you said, going to the gym, you're like, well, what do I do? I don't really know what to do in here.
Yeah.
But this really just guides you. It has a different scripture every single day, and it's like 20 verses or so, just a passage to read. And I have it's called the S5 approach is what I've called it. So it's 5 S's. It's stillness is the first one, just sitting in stillness and just preparing your heart for what you're going to learn. I think that is just missing from life, is that stillness, right? So being still, reading the scripture in the translation of your choice, and then reading the scripture again in a
Mm,
different translation. So that's the third S. The next S is silence, is just sitting with your eyes closed. And it really guides you through and tells you more about how to do this. But just
that's
sitting
so
with
hard
the
to
Lord,
do.
just sit.
And we're so used to just like everything right now, like to just like the first S, like stillness,
Mm-hmm.
and then silence, just like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
wow,
we have to
I love
take
it.
a breath. So
Yeah.
that is something that has just been life changing for me. So stillness, scripture, silence, and then say, and that's just sitting like, what do I think God is trying to say to me, and what do I want to say back to God? So of course it guides you a little bit more on that. So that's where the pages are filled with your responses. You're able to do that. So I love it. Something that I've been doing at the end of my quiet time is I set a timer personally for 7 minutes. I just call it 7 minutes of silence. And I just sit and I'm like, Holy Spirit, it's me and you. It's
Yeah.
me and you. Like whatever you want to say, show,
Yeah.
speak, teach, whatever it is,
I love
I
that.
cannot tell you what has come from that. I literally have a separate journal for just that 7 minutes and things that he has shown me and
Yeah.
revealed to me, or a word that he's given me, or if I just ask him like, hey, what are I mean, it's so deeply personal, and that is what it's been life changing for me. So that's what I'm so excited. That's why I'm like, it's a
I love
deeper
that.
walk. It's a richness. This is not something that
Mhm.
you grab and like, I'm just, I don't know, like
No.
doing this really quick. It is a
Yeah.
slowing down and just sitting with the Lord. And that, I promise you, I
Yeah.
think that's just missing. And I promise you, I think it's life
Yeah.
changing
It's
for us.
refreshing. Like, I mean, for me, I'm definitely an impatient person. So that's why I can't wait to do it because I can't wait. AKA my impatience is showing through. That's ironic. But to sit because I'm someone I love checklists. I love to-do lists because I feel productive. And for me, like
Mhm.
during the day, it's like all about efficiency, productivity, like check, check, check. And this is not just like a, oh, check, I did it. Yay.
Yeah.
It's a pause. Like it's okay. Like God is in control of the day. You don't have to, and I think this will be so good for our moms too, because it's like,
Yeah.
it's okay. And I'm going to liken this to, I know you have a special like room that
Yes.
you are, and I saw it on social media and I was like, that's super cool.
Mhm.
So, when
Thank
there's like
you.
a when there's like a tornado, right? You go
Mhm.
into like a hiding space, essentially, like a really
Mhm.
just a place, and you wait it out, and that's where you go. And I think it's kind of the same way with our life, like the
Mm.
tornado of our life, and to just go into physically or just be by
Yeah.
yourself, get away from other people, turn your notifications off. But for you, it's like this really cool special Bible, your God room, essentially, whatever you
Yeah.
call it. And to it's like your safe place from the tornado of life, where you
Yeah.
have 20, 30 minutes, an hour to just be safe. And like, so that's what I can't wait for, because we get sucked up into that tornado of life all the time. And I can't wait for our
We do.
moms, because they're in that, and to just be able to like take a break from that for a minute is probably very
Mhm.
healing.
It's life changing for honestly. I do not know where I would be without that time away with God. And it doesn't
Yep.
have to, and like mine is a physical room, like a little closet, that I just have where I just do my quiet time in there, just sit with the Lord, and that has been life changing.
Yeah.
Truly, truly, truly. So, and it's so funny as you talk about that tornado. It makes me think about, I live in Tennessee, so we get tornado warnings, okay? We do. But here's the funny part. We get the warnings. And when a tornado comes, it does not come out of nowhere.
That's a
We knew it
really
was
good
coming. The
point.
weather is telling you, hey, it's going to be weather. You might want to prepare. We can prepare. But
That's
when those
such a good
tornadoes in
point.
life come, you don't get a weather warning telling you, hey, something's about to hit. So
Yeah.
you have to have a place. You have to have a
Yeah.
place when, just on a sunny day, we need God, you know what I mean? But when those tornadoes of life hit,
Yeah.
where are you going to go? Where
Yeah.
is your safe place? So
Yeah.
this, I think, is just so sweet to just cultivate a deepening of your faith. And whether you're a
Yeah.
new believer or a seasoned believer,
Yeah.
there's just something to your personal relationship with God, and just sitting with
Yeah.
him, and growing in that. So
I love
that,
that.
and that's what I put in here. I said time with Jesus is time well spent.
100%. And that's time, like, again, like, that's time wherever you're at in your life. Like, let's say the reality is that we know that life is going to life. Okay. I've done videos on this. Like, you can't avoid it. There's no perfect life. There's going to be suffering. There's going to be sadness. There's going to be just all the downers you can think of. There's also going to be amazing things that happen. But when you're in a time of your life, don't wait to like be, if you can, right? If you're in a good time, don't wait for like the storm to hit.
Yeah.
You got to prepare. That you have a room that you can go into or whatever when a tornado hits. Like, know that like you have an evacuation plan or whatever it is. Like, build that up so that when that storm hits, it's not going to just completely rock you, and like, like, because that life is just gonna it's just going to happen. And so even on the days, like you said, the sunny days, on the good days, like, you still should do this. Like, start it. Don't
Mhm.
wait for it to be like a sad time in your life. Like, buy it now, nikkitig.com. It's like my ad.
I love you.
And I'm like, this would be a great like gift stocking stuffer,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
New Year's resolutions, and everyone is like hyped up for the gym or their faith on January 1st.
Yeah, for
So
sure. I could totally see that being like the January 1st, like that first 21 days. And then I even tell, at the end, I'm just like, okay, 21 days complete. Well, we don't have to be done yet. You can use this method with other scriptures.
yeah,
So I am really excited
I
for
love that.
deepening of the walk.
I'm really excited, and I'm really glad that you came on and that we just talked. I feel like you and I could
Yeah.
talk forever about
Yeah.
life, and I think you've gone through so much, and I'm thank you for sharing your wisdom and your life experience and where you're going. And again, like I will just repeat it for you guys in case you didn't hear it the first two times. Please, please, please support Nikki with these books. Well, okay, the one book's not up yet, but it will be.
It will
So
be. Honestly, by the time this airs, it'll be up. It'll be
perfect.
out.
Okay. It'll be up. It will be there. So nikkitigg.com. That's NIKKITIGG.com. And we'll link that. My team will do that because it's important to obviously buy, like support people that share the same values as you. And also you're getting something so beautiful out of it. So I think this is amazing. I hope that you keep writing stuff. I haven't even gotten these books yet, and I already know they're going to be great. So I hope that you keep doing that. Anytime you do release something new, like we should just hop on and talk about it. But please, you guys, like support. Also, Instagram. Do you want
Yeah,
to? I can.
NikkiTigg.com. Or sorry, not Instagram. Oh yeah,
Hey,
Nikki Tigg.
hey,
I'm on
that's
there. I'm also
nikkitigg.com.
relaunching my podcast, which
Yes.
I'm very excited for. I'm so excited. So I've had like a
Yes.
2-year hiatus, and I have a podcast called
Nikki
Constant
Tigg.
Surrender. Yep, that's me.
Nikki Tigg.
I have a podcast called Constant Surrender, which is so fun that I've been in this season of surrender, which I think we're
I love
always in a
it.
season of surrender, whether
I
we know
love
it or
it.
not. So sometimes we surrender some bigger things than in different
Yeah.
seasons. So that is kicking off October 15th. So I'm really excited
I
for that.
can't wait. I know I'll be a guest because we talked about it. So
Yes,
I'm
yes, yes,
excited
yes.
that we can talk more because again, like you and I could talk a lot. And but thank you for taking the time and sharing. And I really hope that you just get overflowed with orders and all of that. And of course, Let Them Live is here to help. And I'm really excited for our moms to go on these journeys as well. And so yeah, I'm grateful. Is there anything else? I was gonna ask you a specific question that I couldn't remember to end it, but like maybe just like anything else that you want to share or just like advice to someone who's or all the above, someone who's like in a crisis pregnancy, doesn't know what to do, or someone who's in that stage of life similar to you where it's like they thought they knew where they're going and they're just kind of floating around like waiting for God. Like what's your
Mm. Honestly, I think of one scripture that could really apply to both. And I'm not saying this like I don't think like, oh, here's where I'm just slap a scripture on it. But I think
Yeah,
that's
no.
why I think there's sitting with it, dissecting it, things like that. But it's my screensaver, Psalm 37, 23, 24. The Lord directs the steps of the godly. He delights in every detail of their lives. Though they stumble, they will never fall. The Lord holds them by the hand.
Wait, what? Hey, wait, I
This
gotta pull that up. I'm gonna mark that on my Bible app right now. That was Psalm just
Psalm
for
37, 23 through 24. So whether that mom is facing this both the thing is we can easily look at someone else's situation and think we can't relate. They're both places these
I
two in
love
the
that.
scenarios that you spoke about, they're both facing something unplanned.
Yep.
And I do believe that God's word never
I
fails.
love
And
that.
it says the Lord directs the steps of the godly. So just knowing that
I
He
love that.
delights in every detail, He
Yeah.
delights in us, and that
Yeah.
we might stumble. There may be some of those moments, but you won't fall, and the Lord is holding you.
Yeah.
So just reminding myself of those things like I'm kept, I'm held by
Yeah.
Him. I might not know what's happening and what's next, but I'm following His
Yeah.
lead
It's like a
and
trust
He's
fall.
guiding me.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't know the specifics of the plan, but you're told to just like go with it, and that's hard.
Yeah.
But what I was questioning too, or I was wondering, what version, what translation was that? I
I'm not
Because I
sure.
actually kind of like that translation a little bit more than the one I have. It's the one I have
It's
is good.
possibly because it's my screensaver, so I can't see the
Oh,
translation, but it's possibly the
and I
NLT.
NLT. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Possibly.
one of those. It's interesting because I love and it's something that you mentioned in your book too, like going back between different translations too, because different words start
Yes.
stick out to you, like the direct, the what you just read in the verse, the word
Mhm.
direct, he directs our steps. Is that right? That was
Yeah.
the word used.
Yep.
That really stood out to me more than the steps of a man are established by the Lord, which they both convey the exact same thing. But sometimes certain words just
Yep.
kind of, hold on to you for some reason. So
That's
that's what I
it.
was wondering.
That's literally it. I'm telling you, we're reading different translations and it says write down the words or phrases that stood out to you.
Hmm.
So it's like you're saying this, it's like that is walking through because there's a reason it sticks out to you. There's
Yeah.
something about it. So just being
Yeah.
able to dive into that.
I
But yeah,
love
I did
that.
find it on here. It's NLT.
I love
So
that.
that is
NLT.
what I would say. It's just being able to remember, don't put so much pressure on yourself to get it right in this perfectionism and striving. We do get the opportunity, even this verse, it speaks rest to me.
Yeah.
The Lord is directing me. He delights in me. I'm not going to fall and he's holding me.
Yeah.
That sounds like I can
Yeah.
rest.
And we
That
don't
sounds
have
like I
to
can rest in his presence.
100%. Like, how good does it feel? Okay, guys, ready for our next hour of the podcast? No, just
No.
kidding. I'm like, we're ending it, but it's so like, when you're worrying about something and then someone else comes along and they're like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of it." And then you
Mhm.
get to just mark that, like take that off your plate. You don't have to worry about the details of it, how good that feels because it's just one less thing to worry about. That's literally what God does for us. He's like, "Hey, Emily, Nikki, chill out. I got the details of
Yeah.
this. Please just take a chill pill, you know?" Mostly that's
Yep.
us telling ourselves that, and it all comes back to humility as well, because if we feel like we need to be in
Mhm.
control, it's because we're trying to put ourselves in a place, higher than we're supposed to be. But you guys, clearly these are going to be great resources. I mean, so
Mhm.
please, 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 I'll say it one more time, nikkitigg.com. I'm going to be going there. Like, I'm really excited for what's to come.
Thank you.
What
I will
God
say
does
this
with
thing
you.
too. You ask, closing remarks, and I was just that verse. But also, if I know you said something about fundraiser, if you decided what that looks like, I would love to do some type of discount code with that because
Yeah.
I love and live. I love the moms. I love you guys. So I would love to. We'll
Heck
figure out
yeah.
a discount code.
I
So that'd
have
be
it on
great.
I have it on my list because I'm like, okay, I'm already thinking like, who do I talk to about this? Because I'm like, we're gonna do this because I think this is a great way for Let Them Live donors and people who follow us to do something tangible. Obviously, donating to Let Them Live is amazing because money is needed. Yeah, I won't sugarcoat it.
Right.
But sometimes to pour into the soul, to pour the
Mhm.
spiritual waters, kind of, so to speak, into their cup is so
Yeah.
needed as well. And that's something to support too. And I will say, like, I will probably join tonight as well, but we have weekly support groups for our moms.
Mhm.
And gosh, God has just worked through them. Let Them Live. We started off, it's just Nathan and I paying bills, having zero direction or knowledge or any clue of what we're doing. We're just doing it. And also being at a not so solid place in our faith at that time, but then Let
Mhm.
Them Live growing. We're now pouring into them, not just financially and in resource wise, but also with their faith. And so many of our moms, almost all of them, I think, that are on the support groups have made the commitment to, from that point forward, to wait until marriage, which is amazing. And you can see their hearts change. So, I think by the time we air this, there will be a link and everything. So make sure you guys go and purchase a book for a mom, purchase a book or two for a mom to just help her continue on her journey to God. And so I love it. Partnership for the win,
I
because
love it.
we can't do it on
I
our own, you
love you
guys.
guys. I
I
mean,
love
I
you
could
too.
oh, I will take forever saying all the things, so I won't. But I've always said it, you're the real deal. You're the real deal.
Thank you.
You are the real deal. I appreciate you guys. And as far as Operation Saving Life, like I've been a part of that for 7 years as a founding board member to staff member.
Yeah.
So I could not have picked, and I didn't pick. God did
Yeah.
this, you know.
I'm
But
crying.
there's no other. I know, like seriously, I'm like, what better organization? I couldn't have
Yeah.
chosen a better place or people for. our mom is
Yeah.
to be loved by,
It was
and
so
I just
humbling, and the moms,
appreciate you
they're
guys.
thriving. I check in. Now, like, I don't normally check in all the time with our moms that come through regularly, but I've been checking in with Tasha, who, like, runs all of counseling, and
Yeah.
how are the Tennessee moms? How are they doing? Because I know that transition can be hard, but when I got called and, I knew that this was like a possibility, I was just so humbled because I was like, wow, they really trust us because these are real lives. These are moms. These are their
Yeah.
babies. These are not just numbers, to be transferred. Like they trust us to make sure these moms are taken care of. And, from a founder perspective, I can't imagine how heart-wrenching it is to, kind of close things down, but to
Yeah.
know that, like, they're being taken care of and things are good is amazing. And I mean, I guess along that as well. Sorry guys, we've tried to end this like 5 times. But if you run an organization or you're thinking about starting a nonprofit, please reach out to me. I am not of the mindset that um, I what am I trying to say? I'm not of the mindset that I only want Let Them Live to succeed. I
Mhm.
want what God has planned to succeed. And that is far greater than just Let Them Live. So if you are like running an organization, if you need some advice or maybe you're struggling with something, or not that I know everything, but please reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. Nikki will testify to
Mhm.
this, that I will
Yeah.
respond. No one
Mhm.
is too small. No organization is too small. I actually think we need more leaders that are making themselves available to
Absolutely.
other people because it's all for the kingdom. And I will put busy schedules in life on hold to make sure that I'm sharing what God has given me. So please reach out. Um, I'm here
And
for it.
I mean, that was something that I remember our first conversation. So it was like, I feel like it was like July of last year.
It was,
Um,
I think.
I was like, I'm pretty sure that was, so I can't, all the things that's happened in the past year, are mind blowing. But one of the things that I will never forget, I was talking to you. I was like, okay, if we can just do, I don't know if it was 30 minutes or an hour
Yeah,
call.
we're like, "Can we
But
just
I
talk for a little bit?"
remember I was like talking. I guess I was talking fast. I don't think I realized it because I was like, okay, ready, set, go. Like
It's
I
like
had
you gotta
questions
get
ready.
everything in, like, a 30-minute period, and I think I remember telling you, I was like, "Just so you know, like, we can, A, talk longer today. If you want to talk for 2 hours, we can, and B, like, do you wanna meet again on a regular basis?" Like,
That was, I mean, just to have that because I didn't even realize like that I was that like go 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 all
there's
this stuff
nothing
and
more stressful than trying to, like,
frame it.
fit it all in.
But just your offer and you noticing, first of all, you were intentional enough to notice that I was like rapid fire, and that you extended yourself and opened yourself up to saying, "Hey, we can do this again." And I was like, "What? We
I
can do that?
remember
Like,
you
she's gonna help me for real?"
I remember you telling me that, and I was like, "Yeah, of course, like, why wouldn't I?"
That was amazing, and I just always say you are the real deal. There are
Thank you.
in the fact that you are truly come to
Thank you.
collaborate and not compare, that alone, we are in this together. We're helping people. Why are we competing? Like that's what it
No,
was, even
can't
like
compete.
not this comparing or competition. It was collaboration. And that was
Collaboration.
that's that's not
It's
always the norm.
it's way easier that way too, and I've said this on other podcasts as well, but, again, with other things, I'll say it again. Um, you know, with Let Them Live, if I think if we it's okay, back to Ecclesiastes for a minute. Sorry, guys, here we go again. Back to Ecclesiastes for a second. The whole point of Ecclesiastes, so hevel is the Hebrew word, and it means like vapor or smoke, just something that people try to grab onto. You can see
Mhm.
smoke, right? But you can't grab onto it and hold onto it. Okay,
Mhm.
so the line that one of the opening lines of Ecclesiastes is and maybe it's a different translation. In my translation, it's vanity, vanity. Everything is vanities, but the original translation is hevel, meaning smoke or vapor. Hevel, hevel, everything is utterly hevel. And it's not meant to say that everything is nothing, but it's just what actually matters. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if we have this mindset of competition, that means we're holding way too tightly onto something that's not even, it's
Yeah.
God's. It's all God's. So when you have that competition mindset, between people or organizations or whatever, and that also comes from fear. I've heard a lot of time, well, there's not enough donors to go around, blah, blah, blah. That is a lack of trust in God and faith in what he can provide, because I have seen it firsthand. God can take nothing and turn it into something, and he can keep it going. There's an infinite, vast
Yeah.
amount of resources in God's kingdom, as far as I'm concerned. So, when it comes to it with Let Them Live, if there's a donor that I've talked to and I'm like, let them live. I love to have your donation, but it really seems like maybe, this is not where your heart is. Like maybe your heart is with, we have this with a partner organization, Life Advancement Group, and they are more behind the scenes, but they are the most cost effective way to save a life. They run, I'm going to butcher this. Sorry, Benjamin, who's the founder of LAG, but they run ads. So if a woman is like typing into Google, like abortion near me, and she's in like, Tennessee or California or something, it's going to connect her, pull up a landing page for a pregnancy center. And she's going to be able to get on the phone with that pregnancy center and save her baby's life. So
Yeah.
all of that to say, we had a donor, and just through our conversations, he's a finance guy, very numbers, which is awesome. And he's like, I want to save the most amount of lives with the least amount of money. And I'm like, that totally makes sense. And I said, Let Them Live is probably not that, because it
Mhm.
costs maybe like 17 grand to save a life because of the financial pieces.
Yeah.
But I introduced him and his wife to Benjamin at Life Advancement Group. And I said, really, I think that you should donate to them. And if that means you don't donate to Let Them Live, like, honestly, that is completely fine, because you're supporting the kingdom. You're supporting lives being saved no matter what. And I think that's uncommon for people to
Yeah.
have that mindset. But truly, we do Let Them Live. Like, it's not ours. We're all going to die someday, and it all goes back to God anyways. So,
It is. We're stewards. We're not owners. And
yeah.
I love that you truly model that, Emily. Like you really
Yeah.
do. And I've seen it. You had no idea what this is not like, oh, when we talked back in July last year, this was an agenda. And you thought we just both had this open-handed posture and God does it. God directs our steps, all the things. And I've never found
Yeah.
anyone in the, like I said, 7 years I've been doing
Thank you.
pro-life work. I never met anyone who really
Thank you.
did what you
Well,
offered, who offered what you offered and truly stood behind it. So
God offered
so
me so
inspiring.
much, so why would I not do that? And I hope to help other people to become like that too, so they can keep pouring into it. And I think honestly, the theme of this whole podcast too is just letting go of control. Let go, let God. And remember, God is real. His name is not Nikki. His name is not
Right.
Emily. And I hope that that's what you guys take away from this. And sorry, not sorry that we have talked for an hour. But we'll just have to do this again, obviously on your podcast, and then
Yeah.
we'll probably talk about other things as well, and have you on again. But thank you. Is there anything else that you want to say?
No, this is so good. I agree. Again, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you
Yeah.
for trusting me with your beautiful listeners and audience.
Yeah.
I am just so thankful for the privilege to
Yeah.
do this, to be in
Me
this
too.
space with you, and just
Thank
thank you
you.
for what you do with Let Them Live.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal,
Thank you.
phenomenal work that you guys do and
Thank
making
you.
such an impact. And it's nitty gritty, messy work. People don't like that. People don't typically do the messy stuff, and you guys do. And
Thank
as
you.
again, my heart is for these mamas. I appreciate you
Yeah.
guys so much. So thank you
Well,
for your leadership.
I absolutely thank you for the words, and thank you for your friendship and for sharing with everyone just the season of life you're in. And I know everyone is going to be able to relate to that, because nobody has a perfect life. And at some point in their life, whether it's now or it's in the future or it already has passed, we've all gone through something very similar. And so thank you for sharing your heart and being so open. And yeah, I can't wait to have you on again. And thank you for your friendship. I think I already said that, but truly it is a very rare thing, you guys, to find friends that are just like your crew, you know? And we've only met in person once. And so I'm
So
just so grateful. Thank you. And thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys have a great day. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Let Them Live podcast with Emily Burning. If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know your thoughts in the comments and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.